Alright, welcome back. I'm gonna try not to mess with the microphone because I think it is kind of sensitive. I'm assuming you hear me. This is another episode of ALX Proverbs, chapter 18. Stand your ground. There will be times when your beliefs and characters are tested. Draw your line, stand on your mound. Identify values worth protecting and fight for those. Chapter 18, Stand Your Ground. This is kind of a prevalent topic for men, right? We are kind of taught to be, even instinctually, we are very protective, we are very territorial, kind of possessive, and just kind of very dog-like, right? If we have a yard, we protect it. Not all of us are aggressive with it. Some of us are aggressive with it. And in retrospect, perhaps maybe we pick some small battles, right? And when we look back in retrospect is when we truly identify that those values were not worth protecting. Those values were not really rooted in anything. A quick example of this is probably the social media hype, right? Seems like every other week there's a new trend. Seems like every other week people are believing a different thing as world events pop up. New experts, right? Weekly experts in a topic arise, and perhaps I can walk a little bit. So new weekly experts arise, myself included. Well, fortunately, this is not a weekly expertise that I'm coming up with. This is rather a book of insights I'm a little bit old now, but it's a book of insights that allows me to not only make sense of my social interactions, relationships, ambitions, and even goals achieved. So it helps me kind of put it in my own perspective, but it also helps me to prioritize my next set of tasks in life, whatever they might be. At the moment, I think the most prevalent vision that keeps resurfacing, even when everything falls back or falls apart, the prevalent mission comes back as spreading the gospel is free. Spreading hope and happiness and cheer is actually relatively easy to do. It just perhaps takes an attitude adjustment, right? Let's see. I'm quickly discovering that one of my values is the truth. The truth is relatively easy to work with. The truth is something that's kind of stable. Well, the truth and fact, right? Because they kind of go hand in hand. Whatever is a fact is a true, and whatever is true perhaps is a fact. I don't quite know if that's actually exactly translational like that. Let's see, did I miss part of the podcast? You're welcome. You didn't miss too much. So about my values, right? So if I were to pick a couple values, big principles that my life represents or could be boiled down to, because I can't be like, oh, I'm gonna put my Adidas sneakers, for example, above all else. Whatever life throws at me, as long as I don't get my Adidas sneakers wet, life is good. Well, after like 2 months they were out, and then perhaps my purpose is shaken up and I have to find a new foundation, right? So what I have done previously a few years ago was I tried to peel back as much distraction as possible. The fluff, just the extras, the unnecessary, the luxury stuff. And what my top 5 values boiled down to was, 4 F's and then S. Is family, my future, my fitness, my finances, and my spirituality. So if I can protect, and I picked 5 because my hand only has 5 fingers and it's easy to remember, right? You can just pop a finger and be like, oh, okay, one of my values, and then this and that. So I keep saying so, I gotta stop doing that. I'd like to be more presentation worthy, right? So which is kind of why I have these monologues, is it's practice. I'm reading my book. Yeah, it's content. Yeah, it's information. Yeah, it could be a little bit entertaining sometimes, but I'm practicing because my ability to communicate is directly proportional to my ability to hit the goals I want. And since I am a book writer, an article writer, a content maker, communication is actually a mandatory thing. So let's see. Yep, so I picked the 5 values. And let's see, what were they? What was my 5 values? It was family, fitness, future, finances, and spirituality. So clearly, I'm very much open about my Christian stuff. I find it very beneficial to my mental health and my ability to, I guess currently I'm trying to assist other people multiply their wealth through my services, right? Whether it's content, whether it's consultation, whether it's some marketing or some digital presence stuff. The goal is to reinforce my message by reinforcing those people around me. Kind of interesting, an indirect approach. Whereas if I win, we win. I think what we have pretty much on lock is being quite selfish with our resources, with our connections, with our time, with our money. And a selfish life is not very fruitful. Yes, we want to stockpile resources and connections and funnel who gets what. However, for all the value that we extract from our local communities, should we toss back a little bit of it, whether it's to the people in need, whether it's to the other businesses, whether it's to even your employees, right? So sometimes we can even treat our employees better, which brings me up to my next value point is, let's see, I said family, future, fitness, finances, and spirituality. Yep, so spirituality, I'm obviously very Christian, and there is a couple unmanly concepts that contradict the general opinion of how things should be, right? And only when life really hits us do we find out that some of those principles actually do not change. Whether it's popular or not, some principles just do not change. If I take my next value in life, my fitness, right? Yes, I work out. Yes, I try to stay active. But the goal is to be able to walk up the stairs and to be able to do it again. The goal is to be able to throw my kid around while we're playing, so that, I don't know, it seems like a lot more fun than just sitting on the recliner and watching your kid play. So when I get old, I want to be able to lift my grandchildren. I want to be able to be active and go on hikes and participate in activities with them. So my fitness currently is kind of a value. My future is actually very valuable. The decisions that we make today affect the outcomes and the courses tomorrow. Today I went around, took a few pictures of some businesses, dropped off my business card, introduced the idea of, hey, a local solution is popping up, and I think it takes teamwork. So would you guys like to join my efforts by being a part of it? like I said, it's a new idea, blah, blah, blah. But one of my values is my future. One of my values is my kids' future. So if I do the work today, I don't get compensated or acknowledged for it today. Is my tomorrow going to be brighter? Is local economy booming and customers thriving and happy, or businesses thriving and happy? Does that improve my tomorrow? Does that improve my future? Yep. I'm also building skill sets, right? So that definitely is going to improve my future. Even though temporarily, at the moment, I'm at the back of a transit station, just kind of talking. Let's see, I did fitness, future, finances. Yeah, I don't even got to go into that. So what we do when we make these financial decisions about the overall courses of our life, right? So I think it's a great financial decision if we decide to go to college and become a gender studies major. As we see, that industry quickly faded after a little bit of hype, right? So if that was our foundation, our core value was that we were going to spend the rest of our lives to study two genders and a little bit of mental disorders, then okay, cool. It doesn't go too far, it seems, right? My spirituality, we talked, finances, fitness, future, and then family. Although it doesn't appear that I'm very warm and friendly and outgoing, I think my core people are the people that I can trust and that I can not rely on. I try not to rely on people because people will let you down, and if you have too much hopes. However, I do want to be the type of person that other people rely on, right? So yes, I do have a kid, I have an ex-wife, and I actually love the shit out of her still. What females do when they're fighting or arguing or when they're done with you is completely fucking unhumane. Right? But like, do they know better? Like, when feelings arise and there's a lot, I don't think they care what they do to you or behind your back, so despite whatever problems I might have with my baby mama, I think at the end of the day she might still deeply inside of her know that she could probably call me if she needs a situation resolved, right? Or if she needs something from me and I'm able to do it, then I will come and help out, with knowing that she was the ops, that she was the one who stabbed me in the back the hardest. And that's okay, because despite having family members doing some shitty stuff behind you or to you, they're still your family members, right? There's a certain portion of grace and mercy that, as a Christian, I recognize that I received from God, but other people, right? Sometimes I received some unjustified, unnecessary mercy, and I have definitely taken it for granted, and I've carried on doing some bullshit. But when you get older, you still process the information, you process your life, and you try to refine some things, and you try to connect the dots. So yeah, which is how I wrote this chapter. Stand your ground, have some values, sacrifice other things but not your values, right? If I were to be massively infatuated with alcohol, I can see how a temporary addiction can take priority over anything else that I value in my life. If I was an alcoholic or an alcohol enthusiast, let's just say that, I could prioritize my time inside of a bar with some other dudes or some other or even in my garage hiding away from my family members, right? Just drinking away, whether it's working on projects or just kind of bitter at life. The thing is, the next morning, when we sober up and the party fades from our mind, the numbness kind of returns back to reality. We are faced with this neglect of our values, right? It catches up to us a lot, all the time. So it's not a topic that we can ignore. It's very much mental health related. But we can't have 100 values. We can't designate 20 things that are most important to our life, right? So if we designate friends more important than family members, well, the friend can turn on you tomorrow. The family member can also turn on you tomorrow. But you're kind of stuck in a deep-rooted love to where you already know that you've had problems before and you problem solved, and even though there's still kind of grudges, at the end of the day, no problem is bigger than your family member. Sometimes, right? Sometimes you just got to cut the motherfuckers off if they get in your way. Because peace of mind could also be a value, self-respect, boundaries, and my own goals and ambitions could be a little bit more of a priority than the opinions of my family members, for example. I think this video has gone long enough, and I'm interested to review it, i.e. watch it a few times. But yeah, it's kind of cold. It's actually hella cold. So let's wrap this up. This was chapter 18. Stand your ground. Yeah.